I'm curious to start at the beginning with you, Ryan. Who are some of the artists that influenced you when you were growing up?
The Beatles was a big one. Probably the first band that was inspiring in the realm of songwriting and production innovation. It's like, wow, you can do that with music. And then the Pixies, I think, felt like the coolest thing I had ever heard. Um, and it was like, wow, you can make music feel like that. Um, So yeah, the Beatles and the Pixies probably are right there at the top.
Your single Make Believe is out now. I'm curious, where did the concept come from?
Um, Outer space, I don't know. I mean, we don't usually premeditate like what we're gonna write a song about. You just sit down and it happens, and then all these words appear, and then you start reverse engineering a meaning. And that's kind of my process as a songwriter. So like looking back and being in a position to say what a song is about, to me, make believe it's about behaving as though you believe in magic, even though it's unprovable. Um, maybe there's like a religious, entrance point there or a spiritual entrance point because I feel like so much of spirituality has a lot to do with yeah, being open to or believing in the mystery without the need to solve it. And I think that is a good approach, especially for creativity and songwriting, is opening yourself up to magic, I suppose.
Well, one of my favorite songs off your upcoming album here is Love to Death. What are fans responding to the various songs you have out now? You've released a bunch of lyric videos.
Yeah, so Love to Death is out in full. Make Believe is out in full. I think, Love to Death was a funny one. We had like a bootleg live version on YouTube for well over a decade that, they have fallen in love with, and you get a bad case of demoitis, is what it's called. And so they're probably trying to reconcile the version that they fell in love with to this new studio version. But overall, I think it's going well.
Well, I'm there's a number of standout songs on there. As I said, I love Love to Death. On and On is a great one, which I think is a beautiful track dedicated to Jasmine.
Totally.
And maybe on side B, I would say Mano a Mano or To Regret are a couple of my standouts as well. Do you have a particular song off either side that holds a special significance for you?
Well, thank you for listening. I really appreciate that. Um, I would say, I always like the sad, slower, more spacious songs on a record. Um, Sometimes, writing singles or writing muscular, energetic songs feels like a necessary evil of being in a rock band. Um, but I jest. It is a joy to make music like that and to get the crowd response. But my soul, I think, lives in the melancholy, lives in the slower paced, um, dark horses of a record. So for me, it's like To Regret really speaks to me. Namaste really speaks to me. I love the struggle of trying to find peace through spiritual portals only to create more unrest. I love that conundrum. It's like you see people who are purposefully trying to find happiness and just so miserable in the process. And it's those who they're almost not even like awakened to the fact that they have figured it out, that they are Zen. There's like a simplicity for children, especially, right? They don't know that they're just so tuned in to
Mm.
awe and wonder. Um, and it's something that we try to model as adults on our quest to find happiness. So namaste, sorry, that's a tangent, but namaste really speaks to me for that reason.
There's so many wonderful themes on this album that you explore, whether it's alienation, self-love, self-hate, gender roles. Were you trying to focus this particular album, Nostalgia, on particular themes, or did these particular themes, I should say, or did just the concepts for the song sort of form the album itself?
Yeah, sometimes an album really does find its thematic lane. And it's like, oh, that's this album, these 12 songs is about this generally speaking. I guess it's like flirting with the idea of a concept album, but this is not so much that. It's called Nostalgia, and so we're releasing it on our 20-year anniversary, and half of the songs are old songs, like from the archives, and then half of the songs are new songs. But what I'd say is cohesive is just the spirit of the writing. It's really playful and creative and a little careless and heady and quirky and cheeky, which I think are all descriptors that are emblematic of early Mother Mother, of when the band kind of first found itself and its sound. So that in itself is nostalgic, just the approach to making these songs, producing these songs, writing these songs. The spirit is nostalgic, and therein lies, I think, the theme of the album.
I like that the unicorn is represented on this particular album, and it's the first time that you guys have used one since your 2011 album back, Eureka. Does the unicorn symbolize something for nostalgia, or is it just sort of that you guys are unique with this particular album?
Well, I mean, I think the unicorn is in the song Make Believe, and it's like you're just trying to like f see the symbols. You're trying to like be told what to do by the music when you're making a record, and you write make believe and appears a unicorn. You're like, oh my God, this is our mascot. We needed one because we really wanted to have an animal on the cover because we wanted the cover to feel like those early covers. Again, nostalgia. But you don't want to just pick an animal for the sake of itself. So when that unicorn appeared, it was like, thank the heavens we needed a mascot. And what a perfect symbol, right? Because like it's an imaginary mythical creature. I think when we're children, we believe in unicorns. Um, and this album is about getting back to that like youthful, magical thinking, and for that to fuel the creativity and to fuel the expression on this album. So it makes sense that it's a unicorn.
You guys have been making music for 20 years, and we talked a little bit about your songwriting process, but how much of a say does how much of a say does the band tend to have on the production side of the music you make at this point?
Yeah, I think like the songwriting it's a bit of a solitary act on my part. But it's really like the skeleton, right? And then as the band gets into the studio, we decide together how to adorn this corpus, and we together determine its style. Like, is it in a three-piece suit or is it in overalls? The heart and soul of the song, is in the writing, but then its personality really comes to life in the studio as a group effort. Is it a tight drum sound? Is it a roomy drum sound? Are the harmonies stacked like Queen, or are we gonna do something more mono and
Mhm.
organic like the Beatles? All these decisions. Should the guitar be panned left? Like, hey Molly, do you like the guitar like hitting you in the forehead, or do you like it like
Sure.
scratching right ear? All these types of conversations happen in the studio, which really define how a record washes over you, how it's filling up the stereo spectrum and the space and the dimension and all that.
Hey, with this album out, are you guys ready to hit a tour in the near future? Are you working out some dates?
Yeah, we're going, I guess, on our album release tour to Europe in June into July. So that's such an epic way to begin a cycle is summertime in Europe. We feel very fortunate for that.
And will you be doing mostly just nostalgia for this, or are you going to be mixing some fan favorites along with this?
Yeah, we have so much songs now that like when we tour, you kind of have to make it a mixed bag. We'll probably do like 5 or 6 songs from nostalgia, and then the rest will be kind of like a greatest hits playlist.
All right, with 20 years experience under your belt, what does it mean to you to still be an artist making music in this industry?
It means more than it ever has because we've really kind of like narrowed in on what it's all about, and that is, I think, just a pure um, creative effort that is driven solely by how you feel and responding to that intrinsic desire to connect and to share love essentially. I think art is a vehicle of love. And at the beginning, you kind of that unwittingly. It's like when you first discover your passion, I think you're just so naive, and that really keeps you really close to what it's all about. And then as you get into the industry, you get polluted a bit, like by trying to like find success, trying to appeal, just trying to make it work, trying to survive this big bad new world of competition and whatnot. And since we've been a band for 20 years, we've kind of like come out the other side of that, and we've really reconnected with the bigger why we do this, and it's not to do with any of that uh, commerce oriented stuff. It's for that beautiful feeling of your soul opening up when you discover a great lyric or a great song, and then you feel that need to share it with something, with someone, with the world, because you just know intrinsically that it's a force for good. It's healing. If it makes you feel that way, it's gonna make someone feel that way. And if anybody feels that way, that's only helping the world.
Well
And
said. Well said.
Yeah, and it's just more apparent than ever right now that that's what it's all about. That's why we do it. That's the driver. And it wasn't always that way. There has been some confusion along the way, but it's nice to be back to the heart of the matter.
Well, I was going to ask what you would like to say to fans and supporters of Mother and Mother who continue to show up and support the music that you make, but it sounds like you just sort of mixed both of those together by telling them, you'd still love for them, you still appreciate the art that you make, and you still have a desire to make art, and you wish that they would be making more art themselves to put out into the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we are so grateful to our fans specifically because of how they engage with music. They're very active, they're very invested. Um, it means a lot. They really listen. They notice stuff, um, and the way they metabolize art is just so deep and substantial and careful, and that's the best listenership you could ask for. I don't feel like our true fans, they're just putting us on a playlist. Like they go in, they put their headphones on and they go on the deep dive. And so that informs our decisions when we're in the studio. Like that makes us work harder to make the stereo spectrum filled with magic because we know they're listening for it.